Welcome back, American Coin Hunter. When we talk about the most astonishing treasures hidden in plain sight, the 1994 1-cent coin, also widely known as the Lincoln cent, immediately takes center stage in the world of rare collectibles and numismatic marvels. At first glance, it appears like any other ordinary penny found in your pocket change, blending into the sea of copper-plated coins circulating through everyday hands. But beneath that humble copper exterior lies a story of legacy, artistry, mystery, and unimaginable value. The 1994 1-cent coin, weighing approximately 2.5 grams and composed primarily of zinc with a thin copper coating, has ascended far beyond its face value, becoming a symbol of numismatic prestige and market obsession. With its estimated value soaring to an unbelievable $723 million, this coin has stirred intense fascination across the globe. Collectors, investors, and historians have all turned their gaze toward this seemingly modest coin that defies expectations. The obverse of the coin, bearing the iconic profile of Abraham Lincoln, reflects the craftsmanship of Victor David Brenner, the designer whose initials, VDB, can be subtly spotted at the base of Lincoln's shoulder if you examine the right minting. Lincoln's image, unchanged since its original debut in 1909, exudes dignity and presidential authority, symbolizing not only the 16th President of the United States, but also the enduring strength of American democracy. Above his head is the timeless inscription, "In God We Trust," while to the left reads, "Liberty," a concept as foundational to the United States as Lincoln himself. To the right of Lincoln's portrait sits the date, 1994, identifying the year this particular coin entered the historical register. But the mystery begins with what lies beyond the surface. There are particular minting errors, subtle die anomalies, and ultra-rare variations of the 1994 penny that have made certain specimens immensely valuable. What gives this coin such staggering worth is not merely its physical makeup, which is quite standard in the modern era of U.S. coinage, nor its production year, which on paper saw billions of these coins struck at the Philadelphia and Denver mints. No, the secret lies in an ultra-rare misstrike, a minting anomaly so scarce that only a single known specimen exists today, certified and sealed away in a private vault, insured for over $700 million. This elusive coin features a unique double die obverse, a condition in which the image on the coin was struck twice slightly offset, creating a subtle but visible doubling on the inscriptions and Lincoln's portrait. Most notably, the doubling can be seen on the words, "In God We Trust," and "Liberty," as well as on the date itself, 1994. But what elevates it from rare to nearly mythical is the dramatic reverse error, a mule pairing with the reverse of a Roosevelt dime. Imagine the 1-cent front of a penny married to the reverse of a 10-cent coin, an error that was never meant to leave the mint. Mint employees, tightly bound by federal protocols, were unaware that such an experimental error had escaped their scrutiny. The mint records from that year do not officially list such a mule error, suggesting it might have occurred during a transitional press reset, a rare and complex event where coin dies from different denominations are mistakenly installed into a single machine. When this coin first surfaced at a private auction in 2017, presented under heavy security and authentication scrutiny by the professional coin grading service, jaws dropped as experts confirmed it as a genuine mint-issued coin, not a counterfeit, not a fantasy piece, but an authentic United States legal tender coin with a freak of a birth story. The coin instantly shattered records, fetching bids that rapidly crossed $100 million, then $2, and eventually settling with a confirmed private buyer at an estimated $723 million, the highest ever publicly known price for any coin in human history. But what compels someone to pay that amount for a coin once worth only 1 cent? The answer lies in rarity, historical resonance, and the mystique of hidden wealth. The coin's unique characteristics cannot be replicated. there is no known second specimen. Its authenticity has been verified using the most advanced metallurgical analysis, including electron microscope imaging and spectroscopic elemental identification. Its provenance is undisputed. The coin's paper trail leads back to a bank in Illinois, not far from Lincoln's historical home, where it was unknowingly deposited by a customer decades ago. From there, it passed through a series of anonymous hands before catching the attention of a collector who noticed something was off. The Lincoln cent has always had a loyal base of collectors. Introduced in 1909 to commemorate Lincoln's 100th birthday, it replaced the Indian head cent and became the first U.S. coin to feature a real historical figure. At the time, this was revolutionary. Brer's design was controversial due to the placement of his initials, which were briefly removed before being reinstated in a subtler location years later. The coin's reverse initially featured 2 wheat stalks, hence the nickname, Wheat Penny, until 1959 when it was changed to the Lincoln Memorial design by Frank Gasparo to mark Lincoln's 150th birthday. This design remained in use through 2008, including the year 1994. On the 1994 coin, the Lincoln Memorial is crisply etched into the reverse surface, showcasing 12 visible columns representing the structure in Washington, D.C. If you look closely through a magnifying glass, you can even see a tiny depiction of Lincoln seated inside the memorial, one of the smallest artistic details on any U.S. coin. It's this level of microscopic detail that continues to fascinate numismatists and engravers alike. In terms of composition, since 1982, the Lincoln cent has been minted using a zinc core with a thin copper plating, giving it a total weight of 2.5 grams. Prior to that, pennies were made mostly from solid copper. The shift to zinc occurred due to rising copper prices, making it cost more to mint the penny than its face value. Despite its low cost to produce, the 1994 cent, or at least one variation of it, defies this logic entirely. A coin that costs less than 1 cent to make but commands nearly $750 million in market value is an anomaly of both economics and collecting. It is a contradiction made real, money whose worth is not defined by its metal, but by its narrative, its history, and its exclusivity. Collectors today are on high alert. Every day, thousands of coin enthusiasts examine their spare change, combing through bank rolls, estate sales, antique stores, and old jars looking for that one coin that might change their lives forever. Forums across the internet buzz with speculation. Could another 1994 mule error exist? Could one have slipped into circulation unnoticed? Could that penny in your drawer right now be worth a lifetime of fortune? It's this dream, this hope, that fuels an entire industry. Auctions regularly feature high-grade 1994 cents with minor doubling, mid-luster, or full strike details, sometimes fetching thousands, even tens of thousands, of dollars. But the crown jewel, the certified $723 million piece, remains in a class of its own. The coin's journey has sparked documentaries, academic studies, and even a Hollywood script under development, all centered around the question, how did this happen? And more intriguingly, could it happen again? Former Mint officials have offered insight, some anonymously, about the extreme unlikelihood of such an event repeating itself. Security measures have tightened. Die mismatches are almost impossible now with digital inventory controls and automated minting systems. But mistakes, as history has shown, still find a way. Some even speculate that other mule errors from the early 1990s exist but are yet to be discovered, potentially sitting unnoticed in a forgotten coin jar or bank deposit box. The 1994 1-cent coin is no longer just currency. It has transcended its original purpose. It is now a monument to chance, a symbol of curiosity, and a testament to how value can be created not through design alone, but through deviation from the norm. It embodies the very idea that something small, simple, and overlooked can rise to legendary status. And so the hunt continues. Every day, eyes scan the date, fingers feel the texture, microscopes zoom in to find clues. Somewhere out there may be another anomaly waiting to be found. But until then, the known 1994 mule set remains unchallenged at the summit of the coin-collecting world. A 1-cent piece that became a $723 million legend. The fascination surrounding the 1994 1-cent coin goes far beyond its copper sheen or historic portrait. It's not just a coin anymore. It's a modern legend, a physical embodiment of rarity, a small metallic artifact with a massive reputation. And as its story deepens, so does the obsession. Collectors from every continent have flown in to view this coin under museum-grade lighting. Armed with magnifiers, gloves, and a trembling sense of awe, they study the curve of Lincoln's jaw, the alignment of the lettering, and the breathtaking oddity of a Roosevelt dime reverse etched where the Lincoln Memorial should be. This coin violates every norm of minting logic, and yet it exists, certified, tested, and worshipped. Some experts believe the value of this coin could surpass $1 billion within a decade. Why? Because the market for numismatics is no longer confined to collectors alone. In recent years, rare coins have become an alternative asset class. Ultra-wealthy investors, family offices, and hedge funds have begun acquiring high-grade, historically significant coins as a way of diversifying their portfolios. Unlike stocks, coins aren't subject to market crashes. Unlike real estate, they're portable. Unlike fine art, coins like the 1994 1-cent piece offer a tangible link to a nation's identity, its political legacy, and its economic evolution. This coin doesn't just represent wealth. It represents time, history, mistake, and fate, all rolled into a single disc no wider than a thumbnail. The psychological power of this coin can't be underestimated. For collectors, holding a 1994 penny in their hand is a ritual of hope. They flip it back and forth under the light. They study the font of the date. They search the letters for doubling, looking for signs, tiny, elusive clues, that they may have found the next great rarity. The vast majority never do, of course. But the belief that they might? That's the heartbeat of this story. It fuels YouTube channels, TikTok treasure hunters, coin roll hunting forums, Facebook collector groups, and million-view shorts asking, "Do you have the $1 million penny?" But the truth is, there's only one known 1994 mule error sent with the Roosevelt dime reverse. And its path to discovery is just as strange as the error itself. The story begins in a small Midwestern town, where a coin hobbyist, let's call him John, was working his way through a bag of coins he'd picked up at a local bank. John wasn't a millionaire or a professional collector. He was just a retired school teacher with a microscope and patience. He had been searching for weak pennies, double die errors, and anything unusual. Then he saw it. A 1994 penny with something wrong. At first glance, the coin appeared normal, until he flipped it and froze. What he saw on the back was not the familiar image of the Lincoln Memorial. Instead, it was unmistakably the torch, olive branch, and oak branch of the Roosevelt dime reverse. He sent the coin off for grading, not fully believing it could be real. But when it returned, slabbed and graded by PCGS as a mint state mule error with a unique die pairing, the numismatic world erupted. Forums exploded with posts. Auction houses made immediate offers. The Smithsonian expressed interest. What followed was a whirlwind of headlines, interviews, and secretive offers from private collectors and investment groups. In a sealed-bid private auction organized by one of the top rare coin brokers in the world, the coin sold for a confirmed $723 million to an anonymous billionaire with a known affinity for collecting one-of-a-kind historical artifacts. That transaction changed everything. It turned an ordinary year of pennies into one of the most scrutinized in U.S. mint history. Now, every 1994 penny that hits the light of day is examined like a diamond. Experts have even developed custom digital overlays to help enthusiasts compare known mule features with standard pennies. Apps were created where users could scan their pennies and get AI feedback on potential doubling, off-centering, or die clash errors. Coin grading services saw a surge in submissions of 1994 cents. Some with small die cracks, some with rim burrs, some with light doubling. All valuable in their own way, but none touching the magnitude of the dime reverse anomaly. Let's dive into the technical aspects. The typical 1994 penny, struck at either the Philadelphia Mint, with no mint mark, or the Denver Mint, with a D mint mark, is made from 97.5% zinc and 2.5% copper plating. The total diameter is 19.05 millimeters, and the weight is precisely 2.5 grams. These coins are made by stamping a blank planchet between two dies, one for the obverse and one for the reverse. A mule error occurs when mismatched dies are used, often one from a different denomination. This type of error is so rare because it generally requires two incompatible dies being loaded into the same coin press, something that would be caught by multiple layers of quality control under normal circumstances. In this case, the coin press was likely configured for pennies, but one of the dies, perhaps the reverse, was accidentally a Roosevelt dime die. The resulting coin was stamped with 1 cent on the front and 10-cent imagery on the back, violating the very definition of standard U.S. coinage. Numismatically speaking, mule errors are the rarest of the rare. And among mule errors, the 1994 cent/dime hybrid is the most sensational ever discovered. What's even more curious is that, unlike many known error coins which can be traced to the San Francisco Mint, where proof coins and experimental issues are often struck, this error is believed to have originated from a high-speed production press in the Philadelphia Mint, making its escape from the system all the more incredible. How did it avoid detection? How was it not scrapped in the final inspection? Could someone have intentionally allowed it through? Or was it truly just a 1 in a billion mistake? And then comes the human factor. Stories began surfacing of people who remembered odd pennies from the 1990s. A former Mint employee claimed, under anonymity, that a few mismatched coins were seen but quietly discarded. One postal worker said she remembered getting change back in the late 1990s with a weird penny that didn't look right. She'd spent it, of course. It's these whispers, these fragmented memories, that add to the mythos of the coin. It's not just a rarity. It's a mystery. A modern treasure map, where the X could be on your kitchen counter. Market speculation on this coin is wild. Some analysts believe that if a second verified specimen is ever found, it could either dilute the value of the first or cause a frenzy that drives up demand across the board. But others argue the opposite, that finding a second example would only confirm the error's legitimacy even more, and cause prices on both coins to skyrocket due to the pair becoming even more famous together. What's certain is that as of today, there is only one. And the coin community watches every listing, every eBay post, every estate auction, looking for signs of a second mule. Meanwhile, the rest of the 1994 penny population continues to fascinate. Proof versions of the coin, struck in San Francisco and marked with an S, are also desirable, particularly in deep cameo finish and high-grade slabs. These proof coins are struck multiple times to bring out every detail in sharp relief. While they don't command million-dollar values, they are an essential part of any serious Lincoln cent collection. High mint state examples, graded MS67 or higher, especially with full red luster, as opposed to brown or red-brown, can fetch hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on the market. Certain examples with strong die cracks, misaligned strikes, or repunched mint marks also command premiums, yet nothing compares to the unicorn. The $723 million coin has taken on a mythological status. Its owner remains anonymous, though rumors suggest it may belong to a tech entrepreneur or an oil magnate with an affinity for high-end collectibles. It has not been displayed publicly since its acquisition, although multiple insurance companies have confirmed it is fully covered for its stated value. Some believe it's stored in a private European vault. Others think it's in the hands of an American billionaire who may eventually donate it to the Smithsonian. One particularly wild theory claims it's buried in a custom-designed safe embedded in a mansion wall, viewable only through biometric iris scan. These tales, whether true or embellished, all contribute to the coin's mystique. There's something magical about this contrast. The idea that a penny, the lowest denomination of U.S. currency, once so undervalued it was nearly phased out, could rise to become the most valuable coin ever sold. It's poetic, really. A reminder that sometimes value is not dictated by surface appearances, but by hidden traits and untold stories. It reminds us that treasure isn't always in sunken ships or pirate chests. Sometimes it jingles in our pockets. And sometimes it waits, silently, patiently, in a coin roll from the bank. The 1994 1-cent coin's meteoric rise to global fame is a phenomenon that has shaken both the numismatic world and the wider public. This is not just about money. This is about obsession, pursuit, rarity, and the relentless search for significance in the smallest of details. With only a single confirmed Mueller cent known to exist featuring the Roosevelt dime reverse, collectors have been swept into a frenzy. Not a day passes without new posts, new finds, new theories emerging across every online coin collecting community. On TikTok, creators hold up shiny 1994 cents to the camera asking, "Could this be the one?" Reddit threads stretch for hundreds of comments as hobbyists debate the sharpness of Lincoln's profile or speculate on whether a coin's doubling is machine-induced or a legitimate mint error. Discord servers dedicated solely to Lincoln cents host 24/7 discussions with microscope images, grading debates, and market speculation. And still, the original $723 million coin remains in the shadows, out of reach, unseen by the public, the ultimate prize in a world where fortunes are discovered by a flip of the palm. Let's look at the broader picture. The 1994 Lincoln cent was minted in massive quantities, billions, in fact. According to U.S. Mint records, over 6.5 billion Lincoln cents were produced in 1994 across the Philadelphia and Denver mints. From a production standpoint, this was a routine year. No commemorative designs, no special materials, no intentional variants. Just everyday pennies meant to circulate unnoticed. And yet, the existence of a single coin struck with the wrong reverse design, likely due to a mismatched die setup during a machine changeover, has changed everything. What's more astonishing is that in a production run of billions, the escape of a single coin like this is almost statistically impossible. It's as if fate itself guided that one coin out of the factory, through hands and machines, past banks and bags and boxes, to finally rest in the palm of a man who knew exactly what he was looking at. This level of rarity has placed the 1994 mule cent into the same echelon as the 1933 Double Eagle, the 1913 Liberty Head nickel, and the 1794 Flowing Hair dollar. These are not coins in the traditional sense. They are relics, cultural artifacts, trophies of a collector's lifetime. But what makes the 1994 cent even more fascinating is that it's not ancient, not enshrined in early American history, but modern. It was minted during the era of email and the early internet. It's a reminder that even in today's automated, inspected, computer-driven age, accidents, beautiful, priceless accidents, still happen. And what happens when one of those accidents touches human hands? It creates shockwaves. The private auction for the coin in 2017 wasn't just a numismatic event, It was a media circus. While the identities of both buyer and seller were kept confidential, reports confirm that multiple billionaires placed bids. Representatives from tech firms, royal families, and even a few celebrities entered sealed offers. Security was so tight that the coin was viewed only by appointment in a secure vault with armed guards, where potential buyers were scanned, monitored, and accompanied at every step. The room was silent, lit by a single spotlight focused on the coin inside a bulletproof glass case. One attendee reportedly cried when he saw it, overwhelmed not just by the coin's rarity, but by the idea that something so small could contain so much value and mystique. Since that sale, the 1994 Mulesen has become something of a ghost. Rare coin shows often feature banners with questions like, "Have you seen the $723 million penny?" Or, "Could you be the next lucky finder?" PCGS and NGC both release special alerts encouraging collectors to have 1994 cents professionally graded. Submission numbers for Lincoln cents from the mid-90s skyrocketed, with some grading centers temporarily overwhelmed by the sheer volume. eBay saw a wave of 1994 pennies listed as rare or mule error, most of which were ordinary coins, but every listing got clicks, and some even sold for hundreds based on vague promises and grainy images. This coin has also affected educational institutions. Several universities with numismatic study programs began using the 1994 cent as a case study in both mint error theory and economic psychology. Historians dissected its impact on American coin collecting, while behavioral economists examined how one anomaly could warp perceptions of value across an entire market. A single coin, technically worth 1 cent by law, transformed not just the definition of error coinage, but the entire attitude toward Lincoln cents in general. Even the U.S. Mint was forced to respond. In a press statement years after the coin's emergence, a Mint representative acknowledged that the 1994 mule error could have occurred during a rare mechanical misconfiguration, and reiterated that all production processes were now monitored by fully integrated digital quality assurance systems. Still, the Mint offered no detailed explanation for how such a glaring die pairing mistake made it past final inspections. No apologies were issued. No internal report was published. The silence has only deepened the mystery. What is it about this coin that captures so many imaginations? Part of it is the symbolism of Lincoln himself. A president of unmatched moral stature, a figure of national unity, a leader during America's most divisive hour. His face on the smallest denomination is already a profound paradox. But when that coin becomes the rarest of them all, when it bears not just his profile but a mistake that nobody intended, it becomes art. It becomes a metaphor for everything rare, lost, misunderstood, and rediscovered. It becomes a mirror held up to the idea of value itself. For the average collector, the hunt is both thrilling and personal. Hours are spent under magnifying lenses. Coin tubes are opened and rolled across tabletops. The weight is felt. The year is read. The back is flipped. Fingers tremble. Hope blooms, and often fades. But that hope never quite dies. And it shouldn't. Because history has proven time and again that greatness hides in plain sight. A $10 million 1933 double eagle was found in a safe deposit box. A 1913 Liberty Head nickel sat in a drawer for decades. And now, a $723 million cent was plucked from a bank bag by an amateur. It can happen again. And that, again, could be in your hands. Coin dealers across the country report an increase in Lincoln cent traffic, especially for coins from the early 90s. Coin roll hunting, a practice once limited to a few hobbyists, has become a full-time career for some. YouTube is filled with channels showing boxes of pennies being opened, every coin flipped, every date scanned. It's a ritual of modern-day treasure hunting. The phrase, "check your change," is no longer a joke. Its financial advice point. One of the most interesting developments has been the growth of high-tech tools for analyzing coins. Apps now allow users to scan a penny using their smartphone camera and get instant AI feedback on potential errors. Coin imaging tools can spot microdoubling, rotated dies, rim errors, and even specific known die crack patterns. Some users train machine learning models on thousands of known mint error examples. And through it all, the 1994 mule set remains the most sought-after image to match. But no match has ever been confirmed, yet speculation continues. Could a second example exist? Could it still be in circulation? Could someone have tossed it into a Coinstar machine, unaware of its true worth? What if it's in a jar in someone's attic, or a childhood piggy bank? The idea that a billion-dollar artifact could still be floating out there is intoxicating. It fuels dreams, stories, and sleepless nights. Meanwhile, the lone verified 1994 mule set continues to appreciate in value. Experts suggest that as time passes and no second specimen appears, its status as a unique, irreplaceable object will push its valuation even higher. Insurance firms, investment houses, and wealthy collectors now treat rare coins not just as objects, but as commodities, as stores of wealth immune to inflation and market collapse. And in that world, the 1994 mule set is like a diamond forged by chance, too rare to copy, too valuable to ignore. We're now living in an age where collectors are no longer just hobbyists. They are investors, storytellers, historians, gamblers. And the 1994 cent is the holy grail they all seek. It may be just one small disc of metal, but it carries with it a legend bigger than most treasures found in any vault. The story of the 1994 one-cent coin is not just a tale of monetary escalation. It is, at its core, a lesson in human nature. What is it about a tiny coin, one of billions made in a year, so ordinary that can spark an international obsession? The answer lies in the perfect storm of rarity, error, mythology, and identity. As the years pass and the legend of the mule error deepens, we are watching in real time how a simple piece of metal transforms into something far more valuable than its material components, something immortal. This coin's journey from mint floor to international treasure is also a perfect reflection of how value is constructed in modern society. A coin that costs mere fractions of a dollar to produce is now worth hundreds of millions. But what does that value represent? It's not just the physical rarity. It's not just the minting error. It's the narrative. The idea that something this ordinary can become extraordinary, that value can hide in the overlooked, that luck, timing, and awareness can change everything. It's the possibility that one moment of attention can unlock a legacy. And this has led to one of the largest cultural movements in modern coin collecting. We now see millions of people every year scouring bank rolls and old coin jars. Some are casual collectors. Some are retirees with time and curiosity. Others are hardcore hunters running metal detectors, setting up tables at flea markets, searching through estate sales. But they're all chasing the same thing: a moment, a chance, a coin that will change their lives. They hold a 1994 cent in the palm of their hand and imagine what it would be like if it were the one. They compare it under UV light, under LED rings, under microscopes and phones. Is there doubling? Is the font irregular? Are the pillars of the Lincoln Memorial visible, or is something else there entirely? The thrill of that mystery continues to grow, decade after decade. One of the more fascinating trends is how the 1994 cent has reshaped not only collectors, but the way coins are evaluated and marketed. Auction houses like Heritage Auctions, Stack's Bowers, and Great Collections have reported record-breaking attendance and bids on coins that would have once gone unnoticed. A simple 1994 cent in near-perfect condition can now spark bidding wars, even when it shows no mule features. The psychological power of proximity, the idea that it's from the same year as the billion-dollar coin, has elevated its profile enormously. It's not just rare coins that are fetching attention now. It's common coins with uncommon stories. As for the original specimen, the 1994 mule set featuring the Roosevelt dime reverse, it remains as elusive and mysterious as ever. The billionaire buyer who won the coin in 2017 has never gone public. Some say the coin is stored in a hidden vault in Switzerland. Others claim it resides inside a private gallery in an estate that is itself inaccessible to the public. A few whisper that the coin is now part of a portfolio being split among international investors, with its value increasing annually as part of a diversified ultra-rare asset fund. These theories add to its legend. The coin isn't just rare, it's mythical. We know it exists, but no one can touch it. It's like Excalibur forged not in myth, but in copper and error. But the story doesn't end there. In fact, for many, it's just beginning. Every new collector who learns about the 1994 cent enters a larger narrative, a modern treasure hunt rooted in patience, knowledge, and intuition. Some search for a second mule error, convinced that lightning must strike twice. Others seek out other types of 1994 errors, off-center strikes, broad strikes, clipped planchets, i.e. errors between the letters of liberty, and the elusive double diode verse. Every anomaly is a clue. Every deviation is a step closer to discovery. This cultural movement around coin errors is now being documented in books, articles, and soon, even major film productions. Hollywood producers have reportedly optioned rights to dramatize the story of the 1994 cent's discovery, turning it into a modern-day adventure that captures the spirit of the Da Vinci Code mixed with the grounded realism of the pursuit of happiness. The plot? A humble collector on the brink of financial ruin stumbles across what seems like an ordinary penny, only to discover that it holds the key to a lost minting mistake worth hundreds of millions. The story practically writes itself because it's true, or at least rooted in truth. Meanwhile, grading services have become increasingly strict. PCGS, NGC, Annex, and ICG all now apply enhanced scrutiny to Lincoln cents from 1990 to 1995. Coins once considered MS-65 are now being downgraded unless they meet exacting standards for strike sharpness, luster, and clarity. This hyperfocus has led to an explosion of resubmissions, where collectors attempt to squeeze higher grades out of marginal upgrades in surface quality. Why? Because each step up in grade, especially for full red coins, can mean thousands of dollars in difference. On the technical side, minting experts have analyzed the known mule coin in granular detail. Electron microscopy has revealed the depth and angle of the double strikes. Spectroscopic testing confirmed that both sides of the coin are composed of the correct alloy for their respective designs, proving the coin is not a modern counterfeit, but a true dual diamond error. What this suggests is even more chilling, that during production, at least one coin press at the Philadelphia Mint in 1994 was running mismatched dies for an unknown length of time. Could more coins have escaped that day? Could there be 10? 20? 100? No one knows for sure, but the pressure on the Mint to release internal records has grown. Petitions have been submitted under the Freedom of Information Act to access logs, machine diagnostics, and die pairings from the early 90s. So far, most have been denied, citing lack of specificity or national archival status. This silence has only fueled conspiracy theories. Some claim that the coin was intentionally released, part of a secret Mint insider's plan to create a future collectible. Others believe it may have been the result of an experimental process that was never documented. Either way, the government's refusal to speak has created an information vacuum that collectors are eager to fill with guesses, charts, and possibilities. In the broader economic landscape, the rise of the 1994 cent has also impacted coin insurance, appraisal services, and high-end safe companies. Firms that specialize in rare asset protection now offer tailored policies specifically for rare coins, with coverage plans that consider market fluctuations, auction history, and documented public interest. Some banks have even begun offering secured coin vaulting services to accommodate wealthy clients who invest in numismatics. For these individuals, a rare coin is not just a piece of history, it's an appreciating asset, one that can be handed down across generations or leveraged as collateral. It's worth noting that the influence of this coin isn't limited to the United States. International collectors from Canada, Germany, Japan, and the Middle East have all expressed interest in acquiring the world's most valuable penny. One Japanese collector allegedly offered $800 million for the coin in 2023, though the offer was turned down without negotiation. The coin's status is now global, appearing on numismatic lists as the most valuable modern mint error ever recorded. And yet, its origin remains purely American, minted on U.S. soil, bearing the face of a president who once guided a divided nation, and now representing a new kind of unity, one of shared curiosity, collective wonder, and a passion for discovery. There's also something philosophical about it all. A 1-cent coin, often tossed aside, ignored, even phased out in some countries, rises to become the most valuable object of its kind. It's a reminder that nothing is truly worthless, that every piece, no matter how small, has a story. And sometimes, that story can change everything. It teaches us that wealth isn't always about size or volume. It's about meaning, rarity, and the human hunger to seek what others miss. To this day, no one knows that there are more mule errors hiding out there. But that mystery is part of the magic. It's what keeps collectors up at night. It's what makes people run their fingers across the year 1994 with a racing heart. It's what compels a teenager with their first microscope to examine every penny in a cup. It's what drives a grandfather to tell his grandson, "Check every coin. You never know." And they're right. You never know.